Hey Pisces, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is bringing to mind a need for endurance. We also have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, Four of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles is about, it feels like what we have secured. The Four of Pentacles by itself was giving me this feeling having to do with endurance. So maybe there's a lot of flexibility that's needed here, maybe in order for you to hold on to something, but at the same time, maybe that's coming up into question just how hard you're holding on to something. Four of Pentacles is a card of wanting to keep, wanting to reserve, wanting to conserve, wanting to stabilize, wanting to hold on to. And having that Ten of Pentacles can be, this is something that holds a lot of meaning to me. This is something that's very valuable to me. And so I do not want to let it go. Then having Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is looking at Ten of Pentacles, and it is feeling like maybe there's something going on that you're worried about as far as that. And that can be having you really tighten your grip on this here. Can just be a lot of stuff that's going on in your head right now as it is connected with this thing. This thing that is very precious to you. And then we also have Seven of Wands, which this feels like a combination of, I'm thinking about all of these things. It's not necessarily feeling good because Nine of Swords is usually that overflow of mental energy. So this isn't just like I'm having nice thoughts right now. This can be like I'm feeling really concerned about it. I'm feeling worried about this. I can't stop thinking about it. What's going to be happening? And it just feels like going that way. And then Seven of Wands feels like maybe doing things that are even reinforcing this to be happening. And you can even be feeling defensive because of this as well. It's weird because it almost feels like I'm protecting my ability to be able to sort of go down that train of thought that doesn't feel good. This is the train of thought that doesn't feel good, but this feels like protecting that. So this can keep happening. So you may be doing things and like keeping stuff out so you can remain in this place. It's kind of a weird thing to see. It feels like it doesn't feel good to be doing this, but meanwhile I'm sort of keeping things out so I can continue to do this. I'm seeing Hanged Man, I'm seeing Six of Pentacles. There can be stuff being realized about your values. Let's clarify Six of Pentacles. I'd say that when the Hanged Man is involved and Six of Pentacles is involved, that it's going to have to do with what's worth what to you and what's worth doing to you, and if like what you sort of get from it is also worth that to you as well. But I think because we have the Hanged Man here, it can be like more in a spiritual way that this is connected, like more on an energetic level. metaphysical. When you come out on the other side of this, I feel like you're more clear on what is connected with balance, what allows things to move forward, what allows things to feel like they can continue because it is compatible, because it is sustainable. What you give, what is appropriate to give. Oh, that's the thing too. So Six of Pentacles is a card that can be connected with generosity, okay? But simultaneously, it's also about receiving generosity. It can be about giving. It's also about receiving. It's going to be about both of those things. Polarity. Having Hanged Man next to it, having Neptune connected with it, Neptune can lack boundaries. So this can be maybe seeing, where was I giving too much? Where was I over giving? Can be like taking too much as well. Sure, that can be part of it. But I feel this more with Hanged Man and Six of Pentacles as maybe you're getting more in touch with where you have less boundaries, where maybe you need to, because maybe this is about, like, we're not always in these ideal situations where everyone is thinking about everybody else. Maybe this is about getting into situations where there is overgiving that's happening, and you needing to say, like, okay, I can give this much and then it needs to stop here. Or I can show up this much and then it needs to stop here, because you need to also be fueled. Otherwise, something is going to feel off. And this can be what's being corrected here. Neptune is seen as being very giving, very loving, boundless energy, very compassionate. But I also see Neptune as sometimes being connected with self-sabotage, and sometimes not taking accountability, and sometimes too putting blame elsewhere. And so this can be coming to a place where there's you controlling what you're doing with your energy, rather than like leaving it up to everybody else. Like, you know your boundaries, you know what's working for you, what's not working for you, what's sustainable for you, what's not sustainable for you. When you come out on the other side of this, this feels like having a much better idea, a much clearer idea of what allows cycles to continue for you, and cycles that feel ideal to you. So Six of Pentacles would be like let's say a relationship that you have with somebody. Maybe before there was like giving and giving and giving and giving, and feeling like there's not that reciprocity, and then all those feelings that go with that. And then recognizing what's going on within the scenario. You can't control what another person is going to be doing. Whether they take too much, give too much, it works, it doesn't work, whatever. You can't control what another person is doing, but you can control your own energy in the exchange. And so this feels like more accountability here. And you can be setting boundaries possibly, but it's especially about setting boundaries with yourself. Because where are you sort of losing yourself? Because Neptune can be like that. Where is there merging happen and I'm losing myself, but this doesn't feel like a union? This is feeling like I'm being depleted and this isn't sustaining me. Which I feel like is just a Piscean theme, right? Like in modern astrology, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and Neptune being that energy that can really merge and bend and fold and absorb and be absorbed. It's very soluble in that way, and we can just lose ourselves when we get involved in things, and bring it back to a place of saying there's a difference between feeling that sense of merging where there is an actual like becoming a unit with another person or another thing, where it actually becomes a unit where it's like self-sustaining, versus this attempt to merge with something and there's like that attachment there, but then it feels like it's not sustainable, and like pieces of you can feel like they're sort of dying, or just you're losing yourself to something and you're just disappearing. And in some ways, like when we've really found the right stuff, like when something is like spirit motivated in that way, we can really have that union that we experience. But because of having the pentacles here, this feels like something where you need to be aware of where you are. It feels like this isn't the time and place for that to be happening, and making sure that you're connecting with the right stuff. And knowing that you can give and give and give, and that if it's just going to be that, it's not going to be something that can be sustainable. And this feels like wanting something sustainable because we have Six of Pentacles. Like, I want it to continue. And if you want the continuation of it, sustainability is going to have to be there. Maybe also too, before you were sort of settling for what was available to you, and maybe now something else is going on. Maybe there can be something that feels more preferential for you. Feels too like knowing what matters to you or not. Six of Pentacles can be stuff that we keep around because we feel like we're getting something from it. And this may be taking a closer look at those things that are seen as being so valuable and say, like, is that really valuable to me now with where I'm standing? Or is this something that the fear of change is isolating me here and keeping me from checking in about this? So now we're moving forward. Six of Swords in the World. You're completing a chapter. Things being understood. Things being finalized and completed. Working with yourself. I think working with yourself on a mental level, taking your time. From actively standing your ground to moving. This feels like before with Seven of Wands, maybe even fending something off, but then Eight of Wands is feeling like not wanting to be stuck there and moving forward. But there's stuff about the pace too that has to be adjusted to, I'm seeing. Eight of Pentacles, Page of Swords. Six of Pentacles, Page of Swords. I feel like the Hanged Man has been keeping you from seeing something that may be difficult to see. The Hanged Man is that part of us that will sort of hide things from ourselves so we don't have to see what they are, because sometimes Neptune is like, maybe this is just going to be too much for you to handle, so I'll tell you something else, just believe it, and then we won't have to deal with this elephant in the room. And now this feels like the elephant in the room becoming very apparent. It's like where boundlessness meets a concrete energy and them sort of coming together here. The boundaried and the boundless, because we have both Saturn and we have Neptune here. So in that regard, they can feel almost like opposites. Neptune is connected with liquids and even gases, and Saturn is connected with hard things like rocks and cement. And so having these energies be connecting here, there's something that feels almost like etheric that's being blended with things that are going on physically in 3D. And I feel even like something is becoming shattered, but it feels more like an idea than anything of something. Like if you really weighed it to test how much gold there was there, I think you'd see that it's on, like what the whole thing weighs is different than maybe what was initially assessed. Meaning you can look at something and maybe it's just covered in gold and not all the way through. And something feeling like it shatters in that moment of seeing this. Like I thought that I had what I wanted, or even I did have what I wanted, and now something is happening. Or like I worked hard for this and then finally it's been accomplished and it's here, and now something is happening related to this. But I think also too, this maybe as well, this is about that fixation on results at times. Like it's all been just for this result, and now that something is changing, now that something is shifting, it feels like it must be dissolved. And when we get to the tens, the only thing that can come next is an ace. And so this 10 of Pentacles, as much as it can feel like something that's been achieved, it is going to dissolve now. And so this can be that hard formation of materialization of things that Neptune is like, and now I'm going to come through, and that is going to dissolve. And then you're going to be starting a new cycle. But it can be something where you're like, I don't want to let go, I don't want to let go, I don't want to let go. I have the 10 of Pentacles, I don't want to let go of it. And Neptune is coming through and saying, that's just the nature of things. But yeah, there can be something that's like even somewhat idealized with the 10 of Pentacles. And I feel like this is a time where Neptune is coming through and being like, I'm just like eating this because it's part of time. But at the same time, there can be like you wanting to fight the nature of that. But the thing is that this is moving to a place where like things are getting even better. That's the thing. It's not like you've reached the top of the mountain and that's that. It's like there's another mountain to climb, and it's even taller, and that's going to be like even better. It just feels like things are just getting better and better and better and better. It's not like you're losing the best thing and then nothing is sort of ever matches that. It feels like the moment must go on, the show must go on. And this feels like places where you can be like, no, I don't want it to, but that's just the nature of being here. Nothing lasts forever, and so it feels like it's bringing that to light in maybe more of an existential way here with this. Because I really do get this sense of like, look, I achieved this, I got to the 10 of Pentacles, and then like 10 of Pentacles is the last, so it's gonna just do another, what is it? Resolution. And so when we get to the 10, the next cycle that we're going to have is a 1. 10 is the last. It is the last. It's like the end of the movie. So now another movie has to start. It's the end of the cycle. So now another cycle is going to start. But the part of you that maybe like, no, I just want to stay here. I want it to stay. I want it to like be right here frozen in time. Neptune is like, that's not possible. I'm sorry. And Saturn will also remind you of that too. Like the point of Saturn, as much as it can feel like it's to get tangible results, which Saturn can give, it's also about the undoing of them as well. So then you can build again. The building and the deconstruction, and then the building and the deconstructing. And the thing is too that it's like something spiritual is going on while that's happening. It's not just about the material of it. That's the thing that can be tricky about Saturn, is that as much as it is connected with the material, it's a very spiritual energy. And so it's about not just what you're building that you can look at physically. It's about what you're building in other ways too within your life. And Neptune is coming through and reminding you of that. And it can feel very uncomfortable when this happens, because Neptune is like, look at all that weight you put into that physical thing. And now I'm coming through and now this is happening, the dissolution of this. Neptune is the great dissolver. But the thing is that it's a transformative energy and a very spiritual process that's taking place here. And so there can be this part of you that may not want this to be happening. Nonetheless, that's what's occurring here. And there's a letting go that's needed. There's a surrendering that's needed to really taste the sweetness of this, which may just feel like bitterness. Feels like seeing something and saying, look at that, like, isn't it so great? Wasn't it so great? And now more story is happening. You're climbing another mountain, but you have to climb down this mountain to climb another mountain. And again, things will just be better and better and better. It feels like things becoming more and more, what's that word? It's like when something custom. Things are becoming more custom. So it's just gonna feel more and more like that. This isn't the end. And it's about too not being tricked by that, thinking that like, that's it. If this can be experienced, it can be experienced again. But if you're at that level, it just all sort of comes in at the same zone and you can't tell one thing from another. So we're sort of counting back down to then count back up again. And in this process, you're finding what fits, what works. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.